Hey everyone, time for another patch video update, meta update. This patch was released around a week ago at the end of December, and there's just been a small balance patch as well, so I think this is a good time to give you guys a video breakdown of what's happened, how it's impacted the game, and what we can expect moving forward. I'll go through the patch notes, like both this patch and the balance patch, and then I'll talk a little bit about what has happened and where we will be going from here. So the first thing that I think is the most important is the fact that they've introduced a new relic called Wheel of Wonder, and they have removed card like Rambling Fatebender. Wheel of Wonder is basically card, but I will read it for you and then I'll explain how it works, and you can kind of make your own decision on whether or not you like it. I'm not the hugest fan. Relic consumable, click to use, choose an ally piece, discover a special duplicate of it with an extra random synergy. So you've probably seen videos of it or played it yourself, but basically what happens is that you use the relic on a unit and then you get a special shop. In this special shop, you will see 5 different versions of this same unit. So you use it on Chen, for example. You will see a special shop with 5 different Chens, and every one of them will have an additional synergy. So it could be like Akira Chen, or Wizard Chen, or Warrior Chen, or Elemental Chen, whatever, right? And then you can only buy one, and then when you buy it, you get it on your board, and bam, that's the relic. So obviously, they did this to counter the fact that card is and has been really, really strong, and card gives us a lot of crazy synergies and crazy builds. For example, Elemental Monks, or Dusa Monk, or I don't even know, Ogre Gyro, Ogre Troll, Warlock Troll. All of this shit you can do, like maybe for a Kia. A little bit strange to use a Kia with card, but you can do it, right? And basically, all of this is removed. I mean, you can still do it, but you just have to get lucky. You can't get race card and make someone a harpy anymore. You need to be lucky and get harpy on your Wheel of Wonder. So I'm not a huge fan of this because it adds more randomness to the game, which I don't think is the good kind of randomness we're getting here. But I do see the problem they're trying to tackle, especially the monk build. And rather than nerfing monk, they are choosing to nerf the relic that led us to have all of these, like the Dusa monk things. We'll see how if this stays around. I definitely miss card, and I think card was an incredibly cool relic to have, especially late game. It gave you a lot of cool choices of what to do. I also think Wheel of Wonder, I think one thing you will recognize a lot when you play it is IO is so much better now, because if you have an IO and you get Wheel of Wonder on 20, you basically just don't need to roll for a 5 cost, and then you have a 5 cost, you use Wheel of Wonder on it, and then you combine with the IO, and then you have a 5 cost 2-star, basically from 1 5 cost. So it's kind of, it's both a card, it's both a card that's random, right? But it also gives this like duplicate of a unit, which is really, really, really strong. Really, really good for tempo on 20. I mean, we'll see if it stays around, but it's a weird relic. It's a weird relic. I'm not a huge fan, but I also really like the card. Grivel's reworked. Basically, all you need to read from this is the fact that egg grows even when you don't have the relic. I also don't like this too much because I think we're going to see some people, we saw this in the tournament, sorry for spoiling maybe, they're going to egg really early, like egg on 11 or 12, and then they're just going to hope they find like Monkey King 3 or Chen 3 or Doom 3 or like some random 3-cost, 3-star, 4-cost, and then they're going to go faceless with it. It's a buff to egg, but I'm not sure it's the buff I was hoping for. But yes, basically egg just grows even when you don't have the relic anymore. This one is interesting, and I like this change. Kireskuro reworked. Win or loss streak will not be terminated with this relic +1 award removed. So this is very cool. So if you have a win streak or loss streak, it will stay when you have Chiaroscuro. This means that if you have a loss streak on, let's say you play Rapture on 10, right? Rapture on 10, you lose all of your matches, so you have a 10 plus loss streak. Then you pick Chiaroscuro on 20. That's actually 30 extra gold you get. Or if you have a win streak on 20 and you pick Chiaroscuro, like a red win streak, that's 30 extra gold you're guaranteed to get, even if you do end up losing. So it's pretty cool. Also makes it easier to get the loot token. Important to notice for this is the fact that if you break someone's streak, or someone's winning streak while they have Chiaroscuro, you will not get gold from it. So just keep that in mind. Weaponsmith remaining chance for Reforger shown in the relic shop. Yeah, whatever. Remaining chance for Mango shown in the relic shop. Sure. So, UI quality of life things. Yeah, and synergies are shown in icons instead of text. Sure. And when loss streak shows. Yeah. And then, yeah, some changes here to how the units look. And they changed golden rolls. So golden rolls also work in the same vein that the Wheel of Wonder does now. So when you get golden rolls, you get one token as well, which means that you can only buy one of the 5 units in a golden roll. So sadly, golden roll is kind of dead, or at least it's been heavily nerfed, I would say, with this. So yeah, you can only get one unit out of the 5 in the shop, or unless you have more tokens. And then they changed the Fusel Blade. It doesn't show it here. They changed it again, but basically the Fusel is now an active targeted item, such as like Bloodthorn, and the unit it's used on loses all of their synergies. So it's pretty interesting. We'll probably see Diffusal be like a cool counter to like some warrior boards, or maybe some. There was another board I was thinking of, like 6 Orc. You would also really counter with Diffusal, right? Because you would remove all of the HP. So boards that rely heavily on synergies stacked, especially on one unit, will really get countered by Diffusal. Pretty cool change as well for Diffusal. Yeah, so this is the patch they released a week ago. Yeah, and I will show you guys the patch notes for the balance patch that came out today. It will be here. Favor reduced courier damage from 20% to 25%. I'm actually not sure which of these it is. This is the right one or the left one. I imagine it's the right one, the Guardian one. The one that protected you from damage that has been slightly buffed. Yeah, or I guess it could also be the Life Steal one. But either one, one of them got buffed. I guess we'll figure out as the patch, as this comes into effect in the game. And the next one is pretty crazy. Pandaren Hospitality, the probability of a Pandaren piece inviting you is increased by 6% to 10%. If I'm reading this correctly, they just buffed Panda from 6% to 10%, which is fucked up. That's so much increased percent. That is a huge buff to gyro gambling. Of course, golden rolls is a lot worse, but that is a crazy buff to getting drops with Panda. With fish, this would be 12.5%. So on average, you would get a drop within 8 rounds. That's fucking insane. So yeah, huge buff to Panda gambling. Crimson armor is, what's it called? You know the armor item. It's called Crimson something. Crimson blocker, Crimson, whatever. You know the tier 3 item. Basically, it got buffed. It will now also give armor to the allies. That when the buff effect triggers. Good buff. It wasn't a especially good item, but 5 AoE armor will actually do something. Willow nerf from 544 to 433. I mean, the unit should still probably just be changed completely, but this is a good change. Again, I think they should just remove Willow or change the Willow, but it's a good change. Moon Knight Moonblade. This is Luna. The damage of each bound is reduced by 30%, increased to 40%. So this reads really weird, but basically every single bounce from Luna's glaives will now deal 40% less damage. So it's a lot of damage you actually lose on Luna. Whether it's Luna 1, 2, 3, it is a pretty significant damage decrease to Luna. Good change. Luna's rolls have been really strong. Sniper, attack power reduced from 70 to 60. So a 10% damage decrease, you might not think this is too much, but This is 40% less on Sniper 3. So, sorry, 40 damage less on Sniper 3, which is quite a lot, actually. This is a pretty heavy nerf to Sniper. Definitely makes him a lot weaker in the late game. And it's a huge nerf to Hunter Elf. Should still be strong, but this does help to kind of contain some of the strength in Hunter Elf. And I guess this actually is even more of a nerf because a lot of Sniper's strength came from Dwarf as well, and Dwarf is weaker since your Dwarf is a percentage damage increase, and since your base damage is less, the Dwarf damage is also quite a bit less, actually. Yeah, Naga's Siren Song. Enemies fall asleep every 0.5 seconds. The probability of falling asleep is reduced from 40% to 30%, and the duration of each sleep is reduced. Duration is reduced from 468 to 456. Oh, I'm unsure exactly how to read this. Either way, Naga Siren nerfed. This is nerfed to Warrior Guard and also Hunter Elf builds that played Naga Siren. Good nerf. Naga Siren was really strong, probably too strong. Hyung Jing Billing out of bounds. Basically, this is Muerta. So basically, Muerta, when she transforms with Pierce the Veil, rather than doing 50, 100, and 200 additional magical damage, she will only do 40, 80, and 120 additional magical damage now. So a pretty substantial nerf to Muerta's magical damage output when she transforms. Good nerf. Undead 3-cost hunters were too strong, so this is a welcome nerf. Dying, decay. The percentage of health drained is changed from 6, 9, 12 to 6, 8, 10. Good nerf to Undying. Undying was too strong. Monkey King, basically the damage amplification of his stick when he did his when it triggered and he would do Boundless Strike is changed from 300% on level 3 to 250% on level 3. So it's actually basically only a nerf to Monkey King 3, which is pretty fair. Monkey King 3 was really ridiculous. So fair that they're nerfing him a little bit. And then the last change they have is a little buff to Templar Assassin, 1 additional charge of refraction on every level. So small changes, but I think small changes like these are really important to have the game stay healthy. And they also touched probably the builds that we have thought were a little bit too strong, namely Hunter Elf, Lunar Trolls. They didn't nerf Warrior Guard. I mean, they nerfed Naga Siren, so you can argue a nerf to Naga Siren is a nerf to Warrior Guard, which is correct, but that build is probably still gonna pop off pretty fucking hard. Yeah. I think they are trying to kind of keep reroll not too strong, because reroll has been really strong, and I would say that for the past week of playing, or the past 2-3 weeks of playing, if you go Lunar Troll, if you go Hunter Elf, if you go under 3-cost, these are the best ways to win the game. And then Warrior Guard, right? You go one of these options, it's such an easy way to play and win the game. And I think they want to buff late game a little bit without buffing late game, like by slightly nerfing the reroll. All of this is because of the way talents work, right? And how insanely strong doing reroll after 15 is. Because you basically get all of your units for free. So you also have the gold to actually push levels. Prior to when we had talents, right? If you went Warrior Guard, if you went Lunar Trolls, if you went 1 cost, if you went 2 cost, you would be really starved on gold once you had all of your units. Almost always. Whereas the change now is that basically you have so much gold after you get your units, which allows most of the reroll builds to scale a little bit too fast, kind of letting them challenge the late game builds in the late game sphere. So this is a slight nerf to that. What we're going to see in the coming weeks, I'm unsure of, because they didn't buff anything. So Warrior Guard for sure, Lunar Troll for sure. Like, I mean, it got nerfed, but it's still going to be good. Hunter Elf, still going to be good as well. But I wonder what we're going to see that can combat this. I like Marcy Elf, but Marcy Elf, you do need a decent setup to play it, I think. Yeah. going to be interesting to see. We saw a lot of 6 orc in the tournament, so maybe more late game, like getting a late game relic and then going 6 orc is also going to be a thing, because with reroll being slightly weaker, that of course means that everything that does challenge the reroll builds will be slightly stronger. And these are damage decreases to reroll builds, right? Which will mean that a build that plays unsustained will be even stronger. Either way, hope you enjoyed the video. I will maybe do another update if we get more balance patches, but yeah, I just wanted to get through the changes that we've seen here and how they're going to impact the game. It's going to stay quite a lot of the same, I think, but maybe we'll see something new shine. 1 cost is still going to be strong. I think we're going to see maybe some cool 2 cost variants. I think there is room for that. Yeah, Meepo SF, when people get the chance, is still going to be good as well. And late game is like, late game will be whatever late game will be. Probably a lot of people just playing push and then going for will on 20 with an IO or some shit is going to be a huge thing. Yeah. All right. Take care. Stay kind. I'll see you guys around.